because the police have very cleverly backed off from their campaign of harassment lately, building up to the coup de grace of the final incarceration plan, then the notion of pressing for the harassment prosecution seems unlikely to be successful due to the 2-month shelf life on harassment incidents. Thus, we elected to go the route of a prosecution of false imprisonment, all predicated upon my preposterous incarceration and enforced injections of the most harmful of chemicals last year. So in summary, a year or so ago I found myself on the wrong side of Northumbria police for reasons that I should prefer not to delve into. Northumbria police then engendered my false imprisonment in quite ludicrous fashion. I was taken to a police station and falsely accused of sexual molestation of a man. I was held in an interrogation room all night long until 7 a.m. on the 7th of July, 2016, at which point psychiatrists and a social worker showed up and sectioned me under the Mental Health Act. The grounds that they used were ludicrous. They stated that because I had made some statements some weeks earlier that they didn't think were accurate, that I was thus suffering from delusional disorder. I pointed out that the statements in question were all factual. One of the psychiatrists had the temerity to reply, "Fact and fiction, the two are very much the same." I pointed out to him that the whole criminal justice system hinges on identifying what is fact and what is fiction. He could offer no response to that. On arrival at the lunatic asylum, I was informed that I had been banned from attending Mass at St. Mary's Catholic Cathedral in Newcastle on the grounds of sexually inappropriate conduct. Again, this is an utter fabrication, not a shred of truth in it. No such thing has occurred, and we have it in writing from St. Mary's to that effect. In the tribunal held exactly a week later, on the 14th of July, the so-called psychiatrists and psychiatric nurses had made up a whole raft of utterly misleading statements, which I was supposed to have said, e.g., Mr. Burns is of the sick, i.e. editorial intervention indicating utter bollocks of the person who wrote it, unshaken belief that everywhere he goes he is pursued by a motorcycle gang. Their tissue of lies were intended to create an image of a man utterly terrified in the outside world, which was, of course, totally false. For instance, my daily routine involved taking long runs in the far-flung countryside, often in the dead of night. Hardly the sort of behaviour which is demonstrated by he who is in mortal dread of abduction. Astoundingly, the Section 2 order were upheld by the tribunal, despite my fiancée attesting to the validity of all the statements I had made, and indeed no discussion whatsoever occurred as to the accuracy of the statements. My nearest relative, i.e. my fiancée, Miss Helen Sanderson, had upon my incarceration immediately on the Sunday night exercised her right to demand the immediate release of me into her care, which were her right. Instead of this demand being forthcoming, astoundingly, a secret emergency court case was convened without either me or Helen